On behalf of Crosscheck Media and BizTalk Today TV, welcome everyone to Wayve Wire. I am your host, Todd Schoenberger, and joining me as they do every week are the executives from Wayve Capital out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We have the CEO, Joe Besecker, and the CIO, Rhys Williams. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. So much has happened in the last week since our last show, and we got to talk about oil. We were expecting this war to really be at the closing moments, I would say, by now. It clearly is not. Oil continues to rise. It's actually causing a lot of downward pressure on the markets. Rhys, what should we expect? What are you telling Wayve Capital clients these days about this stock market?
Well, I will say we're keeping our core positions. I think I said that last. So we're not making huge moves, but we are not buying more. And we're waiting for potential low. I still think there's asymmetric possibilities for a lower market than benefits from a deal this weekend and a higher market. And the reason is you just haven't really factored in the Straits of Hormuz being closed for a long period of time. I still think there's expectations in the pricing that this is going to get better relatively quickly. I hope that's the case, but it does seem to be that Iranians have chosen the militant leader. There's a lot of talk that Iranians kind of felt like they kind of laid over in the last couple of years to a lot of Israeli and U.S. provocations. We killed a lot of Iranian leaders. Not too sure who the U.S. the people that have been killed, the Iranians have killed. But the point is they feel that it's been very asymmetric and that they need to show that they're tough. And the only way to show that they're really tough is to cause oil to go to 120 and have a global economic recession.
Joe, how about that? Rhys is thinking this thing's going to end soon. Is that just wishful thinking, or do you think he's onto something?
So did you listen to Pete Hegseth yesterday or this morning?
This morning, yes. Yeah. The Pentagon did have a briefing this morning.
So he said that somehow CNN and others thought that, we didn't think that they would do anything to the Straits of Hormuz. What are you out of your mind? I mean, really. Once again, let's talk about we're down about 3-ish% since last Friday. All of this negative baloney.
Yeah.
We're doing well. We're performing well. Okay. We're going to have some challenges, but they've known that the only thing they have is to mess with the Straits, and they're just going to get knocked right out of the box.
Well, it's working, Joe. I mean, they're messing with it. They're messing with it. They're messing with it. Of course
they're messing with it. I mean, it's a fight, but the fight is going to be a one-sided affair. All right, and you're going to.
I disagree with Joe, by the way, just to let you know.
Oh, okay. Let's say, what do you think? When do you think we'll have free passage through the Straits?
Oh,
I'm
May.
not sure.
May?
Yeah. I'd say maybe
not. Maybe not. No way. There's no way.
You don't think so?
We're a lot lower if it's May. I mean, a lot lower. So, it's, in terms of the stock market. So, but here's why I think Hegseth's full of shit. And that
of course
they should have known.
Of course you do. He's in the Trump administration.
Hold on, Joe.
Here's what my reasoning is. If they knew about this, why are the number one thing they can do is to get this open? Why are we not making this job one for the U.S. Navy? Why are we doing other things for the U.S. Navy?
I don't think it's the number one thing. It's the number one thing for you. You're in the market. It's not the number one thing.
It's the number one thing for the global economy. And by the way, if you get the Straits of Hormuz, the Straits of Hormuz open, you have more time to bomb away at Iran. I mean, that's what people care about. People don't care about Iranians dying. Nobody cares about Iranians dying.
That's what you care about.
What they care about is that the Straits of Hormuz is open, because that's what global commerce is all about.
And you think it's going to be, Todd thinks it's May.
I think it's going to be a while. I mean, the Houthis haven't even gotten involved in this.
I've been saying that, but I think the market is figuring this stuff out. We're down you can't come up with more negative news. Okay. You just can't. You've got.
Well, that's why I think there's asymmetric downside right this second, because the market is not priced in May, 100%.
Well, there's a couple of other variables that we haven't discussed yet. One is clearly inflation. You have a lot of economists right now that are predicting a 3% year-over-year rate when that inflation report comes out for the month of March. If this thing goes into April, now we're looking at a possible 4% hit on CPI. This is a serious issue because it's one thing about the stock market, but when you start hitting Main Street, where we've already been dealing with higher prices from the household level. Now you're dealing with even higher prices. And now you got all these other issues where you have soldiers coming back that are killed. This is not a good situation because 2 weeks ago, we didn't even ask for this. That's the thing. And now you got to talk about the risk of unmanned drones going into California.
Todd, who didn't ask for this?
The United States, everybody here in this country, even the ones that voted for Trump, and I'm one of them, I would say I didn't expect this was going to happen. I wasn't expecting the Iranians to launch a missile into the Pentagon. I didn't think any of that was going to happen. Now, all of a sudden, we're at risk. And I think that's where the uncertainty comes in. And that's where there's so much uneasiness right now. And then the oil.
If you think the country really believes that, I'm not with you. And actually, I think the polls show that most people are okay with it. They don't want it to last a long time. But this was a systemic risk that's over multiple decades, and we're going to fix it. It's going to get fixed. The straits will open up. The skies will open up. Sun will come shining down, and the world will be a better place. I can't tell you exactly when. And to say that we didn't know that they were going to mess, that's what they always do. That's what their pressure point is.
Well, why didn't we have a better plan?
Why? What better plan?
If we knew.
What was the better plan? No, Rhys, what would have been a better plan? You got to take care. You've got to.
The better plan is to make sure that
you're
the US
out of
Navy
your
keeps that
freaking
strait
mind.
open.
You're out of. This will get solved. Okay.
But Joe, do you find it odd though that here we are in the 14th day, and we've hit over 5,000 targets.
Almost.
Yeah, okay. We can't even get a ship full of oil through the strait right now, 2 weeks into this.
You really want to walk? You really? Let's go to Carlisle. We'll go to the War College. Okay. You really think Rhys is a genius, by the way, because he teaches there. I'm sure because what the number one thing is to take out their air defense. The number one two is to take out the leaders. Okay. Those were the number one things. We'll deal with the Straits of Hormuz. Okay. That's a small price to pay for this type of freedom, this type of situation. And I think Rhys is totally full of garbage.
Okay.
I love Rhys, by the way.
We all love Rhys. We all love Rhys. But Rhys, I want to turn this question to you then. So the talk of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve out in Cushing, Oklahoma, we have now heard that the White House has approved the release of 172 million barrels of our SPR. The question I have for you is that that was fine and good when we were only relying on Middle East oil, but we drill our own oil. We are completely independent on having to use foreign sources. Why would we even need to pump or release anything from the SPR thinking that that's going to lower gas prices? Because we don't need the extra oil.
Yeah, and our refineries are going, 100%. So we don't have spare refineries even to get more gas. Right. I think that's just because we're worried about, the straits being closed longer, and so we just need more oil in the whole system. So if we can export more oil, that will solve some problems potentially, at least for a short period of time. I mean, that's the real problem. And the reason why in the Ukraine situation, oil spiked, but it came right back down was, okay, the Russians didn't sell to Europe, but they sold just as much to China and India. The world demands 100 million barrels a day. We produce about 100 million barrels per day. The only people with any spare capacity is Saudi Arabia, and they can't export more right now because of the Straits of Hormuz are closed. So people like us have to tap the SPR to hopefully mitigate the situation.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. Why did we tap the SPR or not fill it to the brim under Biden?
That was a mistake.
A mistake. Oh, a mistake.
Well, the Chinese actually, to give you an idea, Joe, is that over the last 6 months, the Chinese actually were increasing their reserves with the expectation.
Oh, they've got a ton of reserves. They've been building them up. Absolutely.
Exactly. So, but again, though, they will eventually deplete those reserves. So you have to start thinking, because their number one customer or number one vendor for oil is Iran. So if they
this
don't
isn't helping them any.
Right. If they don't
And
have
they've
any,
been cut off, and they cut off Venezuela to them. So this is
okay,
hurting China a hell of a lot more than us.
exactly. So that leads to the next question. And I think this is where the uncertainty and the fear factor comes into play, is that if the Chinese run out of oil and their number one source is Iran and the strait is still shut down, what do you think? Are the Chinese getting involved in this
Oh
war?
yeah, Chinese are sending fleets over. We're going to war. We're gonna do like, you know, karate or something with it. This is just beyond silly. This thing's gonna be over. This thing's gonna be settled. All
Okay.
this gnashing and wailing of teeth. You know what I am concerned. You want to know what I am concerned about? Is what we
That's
saw.
why we're here
Well,
today, Joe. We're on the
what
edge
I'm
of our
concerned
seats.
about, because of the failure, monstrous failure of the previous administration,
Okay.
It has to
was,
be Biden's fault.
well, was it not Biden's fault that we
Well,
let some between 10 and 20 million bad people into this country?
well,
Okay.
okay, go ahead.
And my fear is we're going to see a lot more domestic terrorism. All right. We're going to see a lot more outages because of, you know, cyber attacks, that type of thing. So that leads to an investment theme. I believe people will need higher security for their homes. I think that the cyber companies will do well. And I think that, yes, domestically, this puts us a little more at risk till we get our hands around it. All right. But this will all work out well. All right. It will have nothing, no great risk comes without some type of downside. And we can take advantage of that in the investment thesis.
Rhys, let's turn to monetary policy on this. So we now have a Fed meeting that's coming up, but they obviously they got one eye on the war and obviously what's going on here with our own domestic economy. But knowing that inflation is going up anyway, we're looking it's an absolute that's going to happen because of higher oil prices right now. What do you think is the next move by the Fed?
I think the Fed's not going to do anything. And you're looking at the long bond has actually gone up despite all the turmoil in this period of time because it's building in some inflationary expectations. So I think the Fed and because there's just too many unknowns. If there's a deal this weekend, the price of oil comes back down, then everything's fine. So I think the Fed's going to sit there and be data dependent.
Rhys, can I ask you a question? First of all, we agree. Okay. We agree. But I want to know who you think these guys are going to do a deal with.
There is no deal. There can't be a deal.
Well, I'm just saying, who are we going to deal with?
We will eventually need, if we don't get regime change, we will eventually need to do a deal with the existing Iranian regime.
What? There's no deal. We bomb the hell out of them. I can't imagine that there would be any deal. I'm not sure what the deal
is, but otherwise we're in a war.
Rhys and I agree. Right? I don't think you're going to see.
Which can also be possible.
I don't think you're going to see any kind of cuts in the next meeting or so. I don't think there would have been anyway. I think, there's a little bit of cat and mouse going on here. But as we get through the year, we'll get at least one, if not two cuts, especially with a new person coming in, which is why you want to be in front of that. So I think you're looking too short term, but Rhys and I do agree. I don't see any kind of cut or raise anywhere in the next, 60 days.
Warsh isn't going to start for a while because we still don't even have we still don't even have a vote coming.
He hasn't even been. I know nothing has happened. So right. Rhys, when does that? I mean, the transition's supposed to happen in less than 60 days. I mean, we got a lot going on right now.
As soon as the DOJ drops the charges against Powell, there'll be a vote, and Warsh will get unanimous confirmation.
By the way, I agree with you on that. I think I think that was an attempt at a leverage point. I don't think he did anything wrong. I told you that before on this thing. I think the charges will go away. I don't think there's anything really untoward being done there.
So it's just a question of when the administration wants to fess up. This is not generally a guy that likes to admit he was wrong or that he, that likes to admit weakness. So that's the catch-22. I would have dropped charges 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You would have never brought him. What the hell do you know?
I would have never brought him. Correct.
Right.
But if I did bring him, I would drop them once I realized it wasn't going to work.
Okay. I think both of you are wrong. I think there's more to this story than what we know that's behind the curtain. Because you're right. It would have happened already. They would have dropped the charges. They never would have happened. And there would not have been an investigation. The guy is leaving in less than 60 days. I mean, he probably already has his boxes packed. Why would you even go through this process to try to force him to cut rates and
this
force
is
him out?
interesting? This is interesting to me. You think there's some more real stuff behind the corner?
I really do. I mean, what's the point? It doesn't add up. I mean, unless the administration wants to be a real pain in the ass for Powell and make him squirm. But why? That there's zero upside
because he didn't do. Is Trump being a little petulant? I don't think that's beyond him.
I don't know. There's too much going on. You would hope he's not.
Maybe this is a message to the next guy too.
True.
Play ball or we're going to make your life miserable.
If I'm Kevin Warsh, I'm hiding in my basement right now, like the Joe Biden campaign. I mean, there's no reason to come up right now for air because
he hasn't said much.
All the stuff that's going on.
He hasn't said much.
He hasn't said anything.
Yeah. Well, he's hiding in his basement.
He's hiding in his basement. That's absolutely right.
Well, Rhys and I agree, then you jump on the non-agree bandwagon.
Well, that's what makes this show so great for BTT. So that's what's beautiful about it. Rhys, let's turn the page. We know about oil. We talked about that. But what about metals? What I don't understand is that we are not seeing any growth. Nothing. We're actually seeing more of a sell-off on gold, silver, copper. Really? Why is that, though? Yeah, but Joe, those are the places to be when you have uncertainty.
Overdone.
It's overdone.
It was totally overdone. That's a tell for you, okay? What I will tell you is that because of that, I am of the belief that now is the time for people that want to and will assume that risk, that people should be looking at crypto right now, okay? I believe, I believe.
That's some breaking news right there.
Also,
Joe's going to the crypto
I want
side.
to agree with Joe. Crypto is outperforming in the last week.
Yeah.
And
the tell
so
is
maybe that's what's going on.
All right, we got to quit, Rhys. We got to get to another stuff. We have agreed 2 points in a row. This is not good.
Yeah, this show does much better when you guys are going at So, but Rhys, what about that though? I mean, are you bullish on crypto at this point? And is the run up because of what's happening in Iran?
I don't know anything about crypto, so I really don't want to apply.
Well, I do, but we can do a special show on that. I'm just telling our listeners and putting myself on video to say that at this point in your speculative risk portion of your portfolio, that now is the time that you should be looking at things in the crypto field. My crypto world is pretty small. I'm not into all these thousand things. We got new legislation coming up here in the next week or so, and I believe that if you're a person that has that predilection, I would be nibbling right now on Bitcoin. I would be buying Ethereum. I think Ethereum is going to be the foundation which all this new financial stuff is on. And then I would also be looking at things like XRP. But I'm not into the wild esoteric pieces. But I do think that this is you've survived a downturn, a 50% retracement. Part of what happens in crypto, because of the way it's set up, it's very technical. I think we've survived the technical downturn, and I would be nibbling on crypto at this point. The crypto of your choice, not of my choice.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm telling the producers, can you cut that, what Joe just said? So we're going to put a short out on that. Rhys, on the AI trade, AI has not been front and center, has not been a headline story, only because of the rise in oil and all of the uncertainty taking place with geopolitics. On AI, though, with what we've seen, I mean, there's a lot of stocks out there that have really given us some nice discounts. What do you think? Would you go in now, both feet in, or do you think maybe you might want to just wait it out and see?
Well, as you know, we're pretty there with both feet in. However, if I didn't have any, I would definitely use this opportunity to start nibbling away. This is the secular story of the next couple of years,
no doubt.
And this AI infrastructure build out is going to continue almost in any economic scenario. So. I think we can count on Amazon spending $200 billion this year, whether GDP is +2 or -2. And I think that's really the key factor to consider. Also, next week, you have an additional catalyst. You have GTC, which is a big conference that NVIDIA is headlighting at. And so he's just going to remind everybody about how great things are.
What is
That's
happening? This AI is giving an overflow of information, but there still has to be in some of these software names, there has to be a layer on top that takes this information, assimilates it, and then also puts it in a package of regulatory, of different types of accounting and whatever. You just can't get this base info and do something with it. You have to, it's like the ingredients of a cake. Well, you don't have a cake. You have to have somebody be able to make that. And then the icing on top of a cake. So these software names that are AI related, we've seen this big downturn. I think you've seen them kind of steady here and look to go okay. I think Rhys is exceptional at picking some of these names that do what they need to do in each category. And as I said, Rhys, I'm pretty sure I look at the numbers. As much as you want to yell, scream, whatever, you've done okay these last couple of weeks.
Look at you, Rhys.
Huh?
Look at Rhys.
No, I'm just telling you. He wants to complain, but the fact of the matter is he's
Could
navigating.
have done a lot better.
Huh? Oh my God! You can always do better.
Gold star for Rhys. That's
Right.
big time.
Well,
That's
listen,
great.
you remember a couple weeks ago, he was already in front of the gold and silver trade. You asked about this
Yes.
now. This is not the time, in my opinion, to be jumping into that trade. I think a pullback on materials has been good. I think these software names. I think that cyber got whacked. Never made any sense to me why cyber, but I told you some of the reasons why. I think that some of the traditional European and offshore cyber buyers were no longer necessarily buying from us, but they're coming back. So the bottom line here is that they're a good steady hand, both hands on the wheel, and then here we are in March. Sometime talk to me in October, November next year. We're going to be doing a happy dance. I really believe.
I'm sure we will.
By the way, just on that theme, I saw Bill McDermott on Service Now.
How great was he? How great was he?
Yeah, he was great. And he's always great, but he's clearly very bullish about the future. He bought more stock. And they should be an AI winner in the software.
They're going to be an AI winner.
But I thought the interesting thing he said that was new to me is right now the youth unemployment is 9%. He said college educated youth, and he says it's going to 30s if I heard him correctly in the next couple of years. So that is going to be a real issue, and that's something. But what that does tell you is the use of AI is about to explode in corporate America because you just won't need many entry-level people. But
that's what he said. Let's take it one step further. Let's say he said the information, because it's going to be more automated, they're going to have more stuff to have to deal with and put together for the cake than if it was held back by humans. So I couldn't agree. We're in violent agreement there, and that just means that there's a kind of a switch in the type of names you have to do. But the sector, Rhys and I are violently in agreement. The sector's fine. It's better than fine.
And that does show you that the productivity is going to go through the roof in the next years if he's
and I agree with Rhys that the kids today are going to have to figure out, you're not going to make a zillion dollars in coding because you've been replaced. It's like the people that used to make buggy whips. You're not going to be in the buggy whip business anymore. But these kids will find a way. Hey, my daughter's going to be a veterinarian, and I have a son that will be working with us. But they'll find a spot. They always do. They
always do.
And I think things like architects. All right, my wife's an architect. Well, a lot of what she did is going to be replaced by AI, except then the really good ones you get all that information, and now you've got to have a professional take that information and work through the regulatory prospects of what it does. So the jobs are there, they're just going to change, and the productivity is going to increase greatly. So far, Rhys and I have been agreeing more than we've been disagreeing.
This show stinks because of that. That's great. That's great. Guys, we're going to leave it there. Hopefully the war will be over when we meet again next Friday, 12 noon live, March 20th. Everyone will want to tune in.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
And it's right after St. Patrick's Day.
That's right.
Absolutely. I'm sure the party will be continuing on as we go into the NCAA basketball tournament as well.
Well, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Before we go, do you have an overall pick? How about this? Rhys and I are going to agree again. Do you have an overall pick? Because I do.
Well, I know Rhys is picking Duke.
And I'm picking Duke, too. Duke,
yeah.
Even though they have this injury they just had, I watch really after football, so I've watched a lot of college basketball, and there's not a better team out there than Duke. There's a couple sleepers, but I think Duke's going to win.
Well, my Maryland Terrapins aren't in it, so I guess I have to pick a team. I mean, you know what? I really don't know. I mean, maybe UMBC's in it again. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to go with a sleeper.
St. Joe's has to win the tournament to get there.
St. Joe's out of Philadelphia.
That's my alma mater. So
okay,
well,
there you go.
We'll talk a little of that later, but it's going to be this weekend's going to be interesting and see how everybody gets slotted. But and Rhys, you picking Duke too?
Yeah, I'm a homer. I'll do that.
How can you not?
Yeah, but those injuries are not nothing.
If Trump does like Obama and does a thing, one of the brackets, and he picks Duke, he will pick every other team other than Duke, even though he's an alumni. That's how much he hates Trump, and it clouds his judgment. So
I liked Ronald Reagan. Tax cuts.
Ronald
my
been
goodness!
Dead for 150 years. Relax.
That is hysterical. You're absolutely right, Joe. I completely agree. We'll see what happens after the brackets.
UCLA was winning. UCLA was winning when Ronald Reagan was in office.
All right, I'll pick UCLA then. You can draft him.
It was a little after then, but yeah. All right, guys, this was great. And for everyone, we will catch you next Friday, 12 noon live. So on behalf of Joe Besecker and Rhys Williams, I am Todd Schoenberger. Thank you once again for joining us on Wayve Wire. We'll catch you next time. Take care.
All right, great. Thanks.
Access real-time data and intelligent analytics exactly when you need them. Get the right data at the right time. Learn more at quotemedia.com.
There's more happening behind the headlines, and you deserve the full story. At Biz Talk Today TV, we break down investing, government moves, entertainment business, and even sports gambling, all in one place. Real conversations, smart insights, content that helps you think smarter and stay ahead. Thousands are tuning in. Don't miss what's next. Subscribe now to Biz Talk Today TV on YouTube and join the conversation shaping the future.
We're the economic modern family. Watch the flow. Market vibes tell you where the trends might go. We're the economic fam, guiding the scene. From the streets to the screens to your trading machine. Tap in, stay tuned. Feel the beat line, cause the market tells a story through the family line.